G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been around. Sorry, today I'm a little low-key today. I'm trying to preserve my voice. I'm a little hoarse and I have a lot of live teaching to do before March 1st, so I don't want to lose my voice. So this is just a bit of a precaution here. I'm not sad and I am not low energy. In fact, inside I'm super high energy, so this is a real struggle for me to tone down. Steve's loving it. He loves when I lose my voice and I have to go on vocal rest. And you know what? I'm sure this doesn't even sound like any kind of ASMR whispering tease, but you know, to me, this sounds like whispering. It's probably just regular human voice. Unfortunately, I wasn't blessed with the vocal cords of one Whitney Houston, and so it doesn't take a lot for my voice just to be shot. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. That's why I sound like this. I'm sure it's no problem. Might be a nice break for some people. Let's move on before I get too controversial and talk about comments I shouldn't be talking about of people that don't like my laughing. Unfortunately, I'll still laugh. I'll just laugh lower. Anyway, let's go on with the video. Today I'm working on some Collage Club printables. I'm not quite sure if any of the stuff here will make it in. I do know that the black and white piece I work on next. About half the video I do these little doodles. They're inspired by a page in my Hobonichi I did last year, and then in the second half of the video I work on a black and white piece that will be in the March Collage Club printables. So if you don't want a spoiler, just turn the video off or avert your gaze as that part of the video comes on. But for this first part, yeah, I'm not sure which parts might make it, or if they all make it, or if some of them will, or if none of them will. I haven't really settled on my final selection for all those things. I'm quite lucky that I produce a high volume of content every month, that I have a lot to choose from, and I also have an extensive back catalogue of journals full of stuff to choose from for Collage Club. So I always get a little bit spoilt for choice and enjoy passing that experience on in Collage Club. If you want to know more about that monthly printable subscription that I offer on Teachable, it's linked in the description below. Just look for the Collage Club link and you can go learn more about it there. At this point, there's January and February available, and March will go up in March. I like to keep it simple like that. Anyway, so that's going to be what I'm working on the screen. I did want to jump on because I know what you're thinking. James, if you're losing your voice, why on earth are you talking to us? Go and take some rest, have a bite of menthol, have a hot tea, go and eat an ice cream. I know you're thinking those things, but I wanted to talk to you about Virtual Voyage 3 because I like to keep you updated, especially when I'm halfway through the experience. And not technically, but anyway, I know where I'm at. I'm like 3/4 of the way through the experience in my world, but you know, we're almost halfway through. We've been working on the first week, and it is the Red Curtain Cruise, so it's Baz Luhrmann's films, and the ports of inspiration are inspired by those. So we've already been to the Port of Inspiration Truth, which was inspired by Strictly Ballroom. That was super fun. Did a whole Tina Sparkle fantasy. If you haven't seen it on my Instagram, Steve did some wonderful portraits of the costumes we were wearing at our Live on the Lido deck party, and then Stella, our good Judy Stella, did the makeup for those. So go check those out on Instagram. Also follow Steve at Steve Limones Photography. He's my husband. He shares a lot of behind the scenes of that stuff as well. So if you're curious to know more about that, or even just see an extension of what goes on behind the scenes of some of my projects that I don't even share, you can go and find that there. Steve gives a lot more insight into his creative process as well, which I always find really fascinating. Because photography is also a visual documentation medium, much like art journaling. So there's a lot of fun crossovers there and a lot of good inspiration and knowledge to use that might be beneficial. I always find it funny too that the wider community all seems to share, not all, but there seems to be some common interest, and I find that photography is a common interest between a lot of art journalists. I also found pottery when I was doing pottery. I found a lot of people had done pottery and ceramics, so I thought that was funny that was something we kind of shared in as well. I'm curious to know what else people share in. I'm sure we can find, you know, representatives from absolutely every category, but I mean, maybe it's just the tribe that I'm attracting, but I generally find people are theatrical or like musically inclined. They like some photography, they like some ceramics, plants. A lot of people are big into plants too. See, that's where I fall off. Not because I don't like them, because I don't know how to deal with them. We do have some plants in here, but we have to be so careful because the cats just eat them. And, I'm not trying to deal with cats not eating things they shouldn't be eating. It's hard enough to get them to do what they're supposed to do as cats. Our cats, they're just wild. So we've got to be careful with all those plants and flowers. In any case, look at me getting all excited and start speaking louder again. Have to bring it back down. I'm going to breathe. It's the excitability that gets me louder. It's not because I have a loud voice. I mean, it is. That is also a part of it. It's just part of the problem. Virtual Voyage 3, yeah, so we've done Strictly Ballroom. That was really fun. We've got a lot. We packed in so much learning already. And this cruise has been more about the feminine face and the feminine form. So a lot of the lessons have been like very heavy into kind of just unpacking the knowledge that kind of sits at the back of my brain as I'm drawing female figures and forms. So it's been really fun to kind of dive into that. It's in complete contrast to what I'm drawing on the screen today, but that is also a part of my process. I love to switch it up and just change gears on a dime and just fully throw everything out the window and start on something new. I find that keeps everything really fresh for me because I can really overdo things and then become really disillusioned with it. So I like to, in between, pepper these kind of moments of just throwing away everything, starting on a completely new tangent, and then coming back to the things that I was doing. It's kind of like a fun little departure, a little detour, I would say. But as I've been doing this, we've been doing lots of fun sketching, lots of really fun lessons. There's been lots of fun content, and I know what's coming up. So if you are in Virtual Voyage 3 and you thought we've done a lot already, gird your loins because we still have a lot to go. Hopefully it's okay because we've got the replays available, right? So you'll be able to keep going with that even after some of the live components are finished. But yeah, as always, it's just kind of go, go, go and get what you want to get out of it. And anything you have to revisit, you can revisit. But I mean, I've had people purchase virtual voyages even when all the live components are finished and still get a lot out of the experience. So that was something I was worried about in the beginning, having never hosted live workshops before, like live online. I've been in real life and hosted workshops, but those are finished once the day is finished because you can't take the instructor with you legally. You could try, but you once you've done your lesson at the scrapbooking store, you go home and that's all you're kind of left with, whatever you could remember. Online lessons you can actually go back and revisit if there are replays, and if other people are doing them with you, or are kind of going through the process, or they're all hashtagging the same hashtags, you can find yourself in the communities that are still experiencing that. So I encourage people to share on Teachable as we're going through it live, because lots of people are checking where the comment sections are filling up with posts. But also, I mean, I encourage people to post publicly. I know that can be a bit taboo for online courses for some creators. As with everything, I always say that just because I okay it doesn't mean that everyone else is going to okay it. So make sure you check in with your teachers if you're in other courses. There's lots of different policies that float around about what you can and can't share. I'm pretty open to people sharing what they've been learning and how they've been enjoying themselves and their results and their their attempts and their experimentations, just because I think it's fun to see all of that. I love to see where everyone's at. I love to see examples of work interpreted through different students at different levels or different stages of their creativity, different skill levels, and even in different genres. I mean, Steve does photography. It's also fun to see his take on how he interprets the same inspiration. I'm drawing things from Strictly Ballroom, so I'm drawing costumes and Tina Sparkle, but he's photographing it. And, Stella's doing makeup for it. So it is just really fun to share in all of that, and I really encourage a lot of that sharing. So you should be able to find some of that on Instagram under the hashtag JLB Virtual Voyage or JLB Virtual Voyage 3. And then in the Burke Makes Creative Outlet Facebook group, I don't believe there have been a ton of posts in there from students from this cruise, but I think there are a few. So you can also find some in there. Yeah. Or I don't know if anyone's really made any videos about it, but I know sometimes we have students that host their own live streams and work through some of their work on there, and then also host their own live streams where they show their journals and work that they've completed. I always show mine, but it's I think it's really fun to get to see it from a student's perspective. It is actually why I had course ambassadors back in the day when I did my pre-filmed workshops like whimsical illustration and memory to memento, because it is all well and good to see what the instructor puts together, like what I put together, but it's also a much better look as a consumer to know what real people are getting out of it, albeit there's some incentive for a course ambassador to get more out of it, but it still is an honest look. I would make sure that I chose people that represented a different range of backgrounds and skill levels to show that, different people get different results from different things. And that is the nature of pretty much any course. It's kind of like students. It's kind of why school sucks sometimes. Because one lesson gets taught, not everyone picks it up the same way, but I'm pretty keen into that stuff whenever I go to consume content. What is it that I'm trying to get out of it, and if it needs to be adjusted to what I want to get out of it, how can I do that? I think that's a part of being a oh, Steve's calling me. Can't answer that right now. Sorry, Steve. I'm doing a voiceover. He's gonna wonder why I'm not answering. Anyway, that's all that. But we're having a really wonderful time. We're doing Romeo and Juliet right now, and we'll be doing Moulin Rouge next, and then finishing up with The Great Gatsby. Like I said, if you are on Virtual Voyage, brace yourselves if you think you've had a lot of content flying at you right now. There's so much more. And I actually found Strictly Ballroom was one of the most difficult for me. So if that kind of puts it into perspective, I think the easiest ones to get like tons of content out of are definitely Moulin Rouge and The Great Gatsby. No reason that they're last. We just decided to finish up with those because that's how it did chronologically. He's calling again. I have to pause. I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry if that's annoying. I mean, I know no time will have passed, but I I don't like to stop and start my voiceovers. I don't know why. Probably because it cuts down on my editing time, but I know there's no real problem with taking a pause if I need to. Especially today, I'm already taking my voice down a notch, so just a day of firsts for me on YouTube. Anyway, this is the piece that will definitely be in the March Collage Club printables. So if you're interested in this piece and all the different things you could try and do with it, it will be in there. If you want to have a go at the piece as well, you can absolutely slow down the video. I do everything pretty methodically, like one step at a time, very production line style. So if you want to have a go at this and try and make a tutorial out of it, I know I don't explain what's going on, but you can absolutely slow down the videos on YouTube. You can put them at, 50%? Or, I don't know. There's different levels you can slow them down to. Just turn the voice off because it distorts. Or it has before. I don't know. Maybe they've learned how to preserve the pitch, but turn the voice off or the sound off, and yeah, you can just follow through it if you've got nothing to do today. If you've got your journal out and you just want to have a go at something, it's a fun little game of Tetris, and then lots of decorating. And all you need is a pen, a brush pen and a couple of pens, different sizes. I think they give the best results. So if you want to give it a go yourself, you can absolutely have a go. It'd be great. I don't know why am I being so matter of fact about that? Anyway, that'll be there. Like I said, we're having a wonderful time on Virtual Voyage. Thank you so much to everyone as well that is cruising along with us on our virtual experience. I'm having a wonderful time hosting it as per usual. We have over 150 people this time, which is almost as many as we've had for both of the other cruises as well. I didn't expect this one to be as popular just because the subject matter is so niche, but I am really having a great time sharing all of that knowledge about the feminine form and feminine faces with you. I think it's been a really nice subject matter to use to dive into that because I am so attracted to so much of the feminine representation in these movies. They all have something a little bit different going on, and it was a really great excuse to do that cruise muse thing. We're always looking for a way to plus each virtual voyage, and those cruise muse references have been just some of the most stunning pictures for me to look at. Steve's going to share more of those as well over the next couple of weeks maybe. So make sure you're seeing what he's sharing on Instagram again if you want to have a look at some more of those behind the scenes things. This has been a YouTube video. Thank you for sticking out my soft-voiced voiceover. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you again another time soon. Until then, bye.